Welcome to Roots of Life Movement with Care. Today's practice, we're going to focus a lot on the hips as well as stretching through the legs and the upper body. So bringing yourself onto the mat, finding a comfortable seated position. Sometimes it's nice to have a block or a cushion that you can sit on to lift your sit bones up. And that will enable you to find a nice tall spine. So we just want to sit up and just feeling your sit bones as they root down into the ground. Allowing your belly to soften as you inhale, expanding out, and then back in as you exhale. We're going to begin by finding our Bhandas, or locks. These are parts of your core that will help to stabilize you in many of the postures. Beginning with the pelvic floor, these are the muscles that we use to contract when we are holding ourselves back from going to the bathroom. So lifting them up, base of your pelvis, and relax. And just allow your seat bones once again to connect with the floor, allowing yourself to feel the ground beneath you and become present right here, right now. Our next lock is going to be the lower abdomen. And this is similar to when you forcefully exhale and you press your belly button back towards your spine. So transverse abdominis are the deep core muscles that stabilize your pelvis. You can imagine like the front of your hip bones are trying to squeeze closer together, but generally we think of it as a forced exhale. So lifting Mula Bandha, which is your pelvic floor, base of the pelvis, and exhale, pressing the belly button back, and then gently lift it up towards the heart.
And now try that a few more times yourself. Notice how the belly relaxes out at the inhale and then presses back towards the spine as you exhale, and a slight lift up towards the heart.
The third part of our core is the upper abdominals. We would consider those our six-pack abs. And that's just a gentle drop of the rib cage. So this would be opening up in the front of the chest, but when we are contracting the core, we want to lift the bandhas and then just a slight motion, dropping the ribs down.
Now go ahead and try that a few times yourself.
It's very subtle. Okay, so from here, let's lift our arms up overhead and bring our hands down to heart center. Lifting your left arm up, right fingertips placed on the mat beside you. And first, I just want you to press into the mat with your right hand and feel your left sit bone root down. Lengthen the neck. So we want the shoulder to relax down away from the ear. Inhale, lift your fingertips, reach for the ceiling. And exhale, we'll start to bend over to the side. Belly button, in and up. Just going to help to root you down, keeping your sit bones both securely planted. And again, you always have the pressure into your right hand. See if you can open your chest a little more to the front. Stacking your shoulders one on top of the other. Last thing we do is turn the palm towards our face. You'll find that helps to increase the stretch up along the neck. Other side, left fingertips down onto the mat. Press into the mat, lifting your right arm up. Exhale here. Root down into the ground. Reach up with the right arm. Exhale, walk your fingertips away from you. Maybe your palm hits the mat. Now we're thinking of the opposite hip bone, maintaining connection to the floor. Open your chest as you inhale. You can even come up a little bit. And then exhale and go back into it a little deeper. And bringing that arm back down. Sometimes we like to warm up in the hip joints and just circle around. So we're really trying to move the pelvis as it spills forward and then tucks back. It's nice to put pressure into the legs. You can grab onto your knees. We don't want to be forceful, but just warming up the joint. This will increase synovial fluid, so that's lubrication for your joints. So just nice, gentle movements. Let's go the other way. People have different ideas about which way to breathe during this. You can inhale and exhale as it feels good to you. Let's bring some more movement into the spine. So coming onto all fours, placing both palms directly under your shoulder. Spread your fingers up nice and wide and find the pads of each fingertip, pressing them into the mat. Knees underneath the hips. You can tuck the toes or lay them flat. First thing I want you to do is engage through the shoulders. So what you're going to do is act like you are trying to tear your mat in half, splitting it down the middle, but without moving your hands. And feel how that engages into the shoulder joint. Relax, soften, lifting the pelvic floor, feeling the crown of your head stay nice and long, so it's in line with your spine. For a moment here, we're actually going to lift our knees up off of the mat. So tuck your toes under, press through the palms, press through the toes, and just let your knees hover off the mat for about an inch or so. Exhale, contract, lifting the pelvic floor, and even the lower abdominals. Lower your knees down. Take a reset, rolling it out. Come right back into that. So once again, placing the palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Engage the shoulders. Press it. And then soften, allow your weight to fall into the earth. Lift the pelvic floor. Engage the belly button and your core. Inhale, lift your knees up off the mat by pressing into the ground. And relax down. Sitting your tailbone back onto your heels. You can walk the hands out in front of you and relax your forehead down. From here, I want you to engage through the fingertips again. So similarly to before, press through the fingers, feeling your elbows and your forehead naturally lift up off the mat as we act as though we're going to tear the mat down the center. So now we're really engaging through the shoulders. And soften, allowing some weight to drop into the hands as you press into the balls of your feet. Lift your sit bones up towards the sky, downward facing dog. You can walk out the heels one at a time. press through the mat. Press into both hands, both feet. Push and lift the tailbone up. And as you exhale, soften. Allow yourself to give weight back to the earth. Belly button in and up. Yes. Pull back down. And just resting once again in child's pose. And just place your hands down beside your hips if that feels good. Hands under the shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, look up towards the corner of the room. Pull the shoulders back, heart moving forwards. Exhale, release the tailbone down towards the ground, forehead in towards you. And moving with your breath, you can also again engage through the arms, allowing the heart to open. And pressing into the palms, into the knees, tuck your tailbone down, stretch between your shoulders. Sometimes we like to even press the sit bones back towards the heels.
Flow through the cat-cow motion a few more times with your own breath.
Neutral spine. Allowing yourself to sink in. One more time, we're going to engage the core. This time we're going to actually do some pelvic tilts with it. Pressing through the hands, separate the mat, soften, give weight to your fingertips and into your toes, lifting the knees up. From here, exhale, belly button to spine. Now we're going to actively tuck the tailbone down. And then release it, and then tuck the tailbone. So adding glutes.
Continue that motion a few more times. You can do it.
That's it. See how? 4, 3. Last one. Release. Can be a lot of pressure on the wrists or into the shoulders. So we will come to a lunge. So from this position, we want to bring our right leg forward, left leg back, pressing into both feet. I actually press the top of my foot down, and then the big toe mound as well as the heel of the front foot presses into the ground. Already you should feel more stable. And with that, maybe you can press palms into thigh and lift up. We want to make sure the tailbone is sort of tucked down towards the floor in this position. So we really lengthen through the front of the hip. We might not even be into like a lunge position yet. We're more or less just upright. As you exhale, belly button in and up, right? That's going to tuck the tailbone down more. Perhaps you feel like you have some more flexibility and you want to bend the front knee more. I'm more concerned about stability. Feel your weight drop down into the ground as you lift the belly. If you're feeling comfortable, one or both arms can go up overhead. And only if it's good and you do not feel a pinch in your low back would you extend. Okay, from here, we'll heel toe the front foot around to the back. And we'll take a lunge on the opposite side. So, left foot forward, right knee back. I'm very dramatic with my stability. I want to make sure I'm rooted down before we move. Okay, so that includes the front thigh pressing back into to the hip socket. Okay, now we can press into the ground, perhaps press into the front thigh. And exhale, lifting the belly button. In and up. Really accentuating the tuck to extend the front of our right hip now. Inhale, press through the mat. Press down to lift up. Exhale, soften, give your weight to the earth, but lift the belly in and up to the heart. That's how you keep yourself secure. Okay, both hands inside the front foot. Heel toe, walk it around. And we'll move into a high lunge. Okay, so from here, starting the same way we did, right leg forward, left leg back. But now we're going to tuck the back toes under. Okay, so see how I lift up my front toes? I'm not sure if you can see that. That just drives the big toe mound into the ground. Match it with your heel. Let your toes relax down. Outer edge of the foot. We have this nice little natural tripod that gives us lift. Okay, now from here, we don't have to go to a straight back leg. I want you to press into the mat and just lift your knee up. Before you straighten your leg, tuck that tailbone down. I want length in the front of the hip before we worry about the back leg being straight. The difference between doing this, right? I'm not getting a stretch in the front of my hip versus dropping down. It's like a woo, bit of a lunge, bit of strength here too. Tucking the tailbone down, okay? Go at your own pace. If you need to come out of the posture, please do not force yourself to do anything. Sometimes we like to put our arms up. Inhale, exhale, belly button in, lifts up to the heart. And there we are. Again, if you're feeling a pinch in your low back, then the pelvis is tilting forwards and we're just crunching into the low back. Not what we want. We want to make sure the low back feels safe, and that's where the transverse abdominis comes in. Belly button up to drop the tailbone down. Then from there, we can lengthen through the front of the body, and we can gently arch the back, but never to the point of pain. If you feel pain, it should be that stretch in the hip flexor. Let's do the opposite side. So we're tucking the toes under. Again, we're finding our core, our stability. We're lifting up first. You might just pop up and back down. Like, well, that's it for me, okay? So we press down into the ground. Both feet rooting into the earth. Belly button in, tilt the tailbone down to the ground. From here, we may begin to straighten the back leg. Imagine like you're pushing your heel towards the wall behind you. And undulate, you know, you can kind of come out of it a bit, retuck the pelvis. Inhale, exhale, belly button in and up. Lengthen. Playfulness. Working with stability. Then stretching and lengthening. So it's a little bit harder. There we go. Oh, yes. All right. Bringing both feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, exhale, relax your forehead down. Letting the back of the neck stay nice and long.
Keep your knees bent here. Again, we're not forcing it to be perfect. We want to press through the balls of the feet. 2 tripods now, pressing in as your tailbone lifts up. As you exhale, soften, but then lift your belly button. In and up. Notice how that helps you deepen your stretch. Bend your knees. Start to roll your spine up. 1 vertebra at a time until our shoulders come back and down. And the crown of the head is lifting up towards the sky. Softening through the legs, through the hips. Allowing your weight to drop down through the ground. Lift your pelvic floor muscles. And bring yourself into the room. Aware of what's in front and behind you. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, you can bring palms down through the center, bending your knees as you sail forwards and down. If you can reach the mat with your palms. Inhale, lift up, place your hands on your shins or your thighs. This could even be a position for you today. And then exhale down. Allow the crown of your head to fall towards the earth. And your weight comes a little more forwards into the toes. Lift up your toes, bend your knees. You'll feel the earth push, push, push. Inhale. Exhale, let your toes soften. Give some weight back to your feet. Exhale, in with the belly button. And slightly up. Let's bend the knees again, dropping the hips, rolling ourselves up. Press through the feet. Keep your core slightly engaged, lifting up from the pelvic floor muscles until we're standing once again. I want you to lift your heels up off the mat, everyone. Let's do this. Yes, press through the balls of your feet.
Hold on to the wall if necessary.
Getting into the calves. Maybe your arms come to a prayer, or they might be up above you if you can. Lift and lower if that's what works better for you. Lift and lower. Pressing the palms together helps us to center a little bit more. And finding a wall is available to you. Press through the ground, lift your heels. And also squeezing through the back line of the body. Boom. Okay? Squeeze your tush. Oh, and don't forget about your core. Ah! Right? That's the rib cage. I lost it. Oof. Right? Just to keep that stability for your low back. Okay. After that, we need to do a little bit of stretching for the calves. So, get back into our downward dog, lifting up, arms overhead, sailing forwards and down. Halfway lift, heart sails forwards towards the wall. Exhale, back down, drop your head. Let's take your right leg, send it back into a lunge. You can also place the knee down on the ground, whichever way works for you right now. And hands back on the floor. Tuck the back toes under. If you feel like you're really stable, you can send it back
into a plank, also wonderful.
Modify by lowering your knees to the mat.
From here, we do a little bit of a push-up. Okay, so down, push up, down. You want to go on your knees? Do it. Ew. Press through your toes as well as your hands. That's the secret. It's not all upper body, it's full body. 2 more. Last one. Drop your knees down. Heels back. What we can do is actually called a puppy stretch. So leaving your hips up and then just pushing your chest towards the ground. This is a stretch for your pecs. And then into your child's pose. I like to turn the palms up, rotating the thumbs out. It's a nice release for your shoulders. Here we want to go into downward dog. So tucking the toes under. I'm very strategic with how I do downward dog. And if shoulders are in the wrong position, they will just feel really pressured, and that can lead to problems. So when I try to split the mat in half, my shoulders are stable, but then I can soften. I don't want to stay like rigid entirely. Come up onto your hands, press through the palms, press through the feet, and lift your sit bones up and back. Get that nice calf stretch, walking it out. Downward dog is a very tricky one. So for a moment, I want you to lift your heels up, spread your toes and bend your knees. Now press through the hands, press through the feet. And then as you exhale, actually drop your weight into the ground. Belly button lifts in and up. Maybe your heels start to find the ground. And come back down, knees on the ground. And allow your sit bones to fall. Child's pose. Let's bring the other foot forward into a lunge. So I'm bringing my right foot forwards. And then once again, just pressing up. You can do high lunge if you'd like. Okay. And then placing your hands on the mat, tuck your back toes so you can spring it forwards. Halfway lift. And exhale down. We're not here for long, so please exhale. Engage your core. Press through the mat. Coming back up. One more time for good measure. We will do a forward fold. Lifting up. And exhale. Really be okay to bend your knees here. If you're not able to find the floor, you can also find a block. And place your hands on the blocks. It is available to you. You take the first 2 fingers and you stick them in between the big toe and the second toe and wrap them around. And inhale, lift up. Press through the feet, pulling the hands against the pressure of the toes. Exhale, lowering yourself down. Exhale, belly button lifts in and up. Every inhale, I press into the earth. Exhale, you can feel yourself soften as you engage your core.
naturally your weight will want to move into the toes. That's good. Release the Bhandas, halfway lift. Exhale, I want you to bend your knees, pull your belly button in, and come up. Okay, wonderful. I would like to do Trikonasana. It is my favorite pose, one of them. And it's tricky. Separating the legs to a wide second. Now this outer edge of your foot should be parallel with the short edge of your mat. Right now we're going to take the right foot and we're going to turn the toes so that they are facing the short edge. You may need to adjust as we go. I always bend into my front leg first because the idea is we're a teapot, okay? And we're porcelain. We don't want to bend in the waistline at all. See, it doesn't even feel good. The idea is that this side of the torso stays long, and it's simply that the hips are tilting. And as you begin to press through the ground, you're naturally going to press your thigh bone up and bend a little bit further. So hand on the thigh is great. Next thing I want you to know is that your tailbone, this hip is really long. So the back knee is actually straight. Pressing through the back heel to engage the posterior chain. That booty is turning on, guys. Don't forget about it. And if you can release down to your shin. Press through the ground through both feet as you inhale. Lengthen through the crown. Exhale, soften. Allow your weight to drop into the earth. Belly button in and up.
If it's available for you, extend the top arm up towards the ceiling and open through the front of your chest. With your next inhale, press through the mat and come up.
That pose actually strengthens the low back as it's being stretched. It's phenomenal. First, we're going to reset. It's always good to come back to a neutral position. In Ashtanga yoga, we like to jump because it's fun. I'm being silly. Switch the other way. So now our left toes are pointed towards the short edge of the mat. Angle the back foot and adjust as necessary. Tuck the tailbone down right now. Tailbone is going down towards the heel of your right foot. And then you start to tilt by pressing into the ground. Boop, 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 boop. This is where you're at today. Hang out here. I can feel a stretch. Inhale, you want to lengthen. Belly button, exhale. You can always look straight forward, you don't have to look up. Belly button, squeeze in, lifts up towards the heart and out around the head. Inhale, lift through top of your head. Exhale, bring your weight and let it fall into the earth. So good. So good. Bring it back up. Jumping back out to the side. Now we're going to revolved triangle, which you would probably like to have a block for. So, taking your block, this side first. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our hips
towards the short edge of the mat. Okay, train track feet, so they're not one behind the other, but behind each hip. From here, the back toes are again kind of on that 45-degree angle, angling forwards. Take your block, inhale, lift. Exhale, I still have a bend in the front leg, because let's be honest, we're not there yet. I want both your hips to be squared to the ground, okay? So you have your block to press in with your hand. The triangle, tripod, is 2 feet and 1 hand. So we're giving weight to all 3 points. Press through your feet, press through your hand, feel the spine lengthen and lift out through the crown of your head. As you soften your weight into the earth, you begin to press through your hand and twist your body. I'm going to release this down further. Nice. Remember to press through the back heel. Notice that shift. What does that feel like? Drop your weight into the ground. Belly button in. And twist. So we're getting a stretch through the hamstring. Please engage your core before you press through your feet and come up. That's a tight one. Don't forget your block. I forgot mine. Turning your hips to the opposite side. So first thing we want to do is bring the hips right around. And that might be hard because like we're tight. The calf is already feeling something. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend the front knees until you can find the ground. You want to find this connection. Okay, for me this is a little high. Okay, but both work. Bend the front knee, press through the back heel. Okay, feel that stability. Press into the palm of the hand, lift, inhale. Exhale. Start to move into a twist towards the front leg. As I inhale, I press through the ground. There's a dynamic to every posture. We're never just collapsing. But as we exhale, we can let our weight drop down as long as we lift and support the body with core strength. You can also come out of your twist a little as you inhale. As you can notice, my inhales are getting stuck. I want to make sure I can expand fully. Okay, come back to neutral. Press into the ground. And coming up. This side's tight. And coming back to that neutral position. I'm going to keep going with the side angle pose, which is a very wide leg stretch. And our feet are a little bit wider than they were before. So back to the first side that we were on. This time we're basically getting into a warrior position. So your legs are quite spread. The front knee is going to stay bent. It is meant to stay bent the whole time. Okay, press through the back heel. Again, straighten the back leg and engage by pressing into the ground with the heel. You'll just notice that you'll start to engage through the back of that leg. Okay, what we want to avoid is bending like this and coming forwards versus keeping the tailbone tucked and making it like a wide angle. Okay, so if you can bring your elbow down onto the thigh. This is also a tricky pose to get. So maybe you just stay here. I like to put my hand on the back of my sacrum because it just gives me that reminder to keep it tucked. And then I feel it here in the front of this hip. Let your weight drop down equally into both feet. That's one of the things we kind of forget sometimes. Our foundation is where it all begins. Start to bend a little further into the front leg as it becomes available. And even the top arm can start to move up, or it can go straight over. You just want to keep the palm turned towards our face. But don't forget to keep your shoulders open. They're square to the front of the room. And I just noticed my shoulder was creeping up towards my ear. Belly button in and up, out the crown of the head, length. Look down before you come up, pressing basically into a warrior, but stretching. Heel toe back to neutral. Here we go. Other side. Nice and wide. So rotating left foot towards the short edge of the mat. The right foot is behind you, angled in 45 degrees, tucking the tailbone by pressing through the back heel. Okay, so just starting, feeling that resistance to press in, and then you start to tilt, finding elbow to knee, or maybe it's just your hand. Dropping weight equally into both feet. Heel toe your feet a little closer together. Coming back up. That neutral position. Cradle the top leg, whichever one you want. And just
If it feels okay for your shoulder and neck, extend the top arm up overhead
coming across the
and
body.
gently turn your gaze up towards the
available
top
to you, you
hand.
can lower the top
Press
leg
through
down.
your front foot and come up to
It may be
standing.
a matter of extending the front leg forwards to get into this. Or if you feel like you can, just have the
Make your way down onto the mat for a seated
just want you
sequence.
to lift your chest and feel your sit bones drop down. From here, you may feel like you can lean forward, so taking one hand and then the other and coming down. Notice how I still use my core. It's going to take your poses further. And I'm not collapsing down. My fingers are pressing into the mat. I might soften through the hips, but I'm still engaged in my core. Coming back up. What we can do is we can actually take the bottom leg and extend it forward. Perhaps you were already there because you were doing it like this. And place the top foot so that it's flat on the floor. I want the same arm as bent knee, up and around so it's behind you. Okay. And then we're going to inhale and exhale, twist. First, let's just hug the knee. Let's just give it a nice little wrap with the arm. And as we begin to twist, I'm still engaging my core. Okay, twisting should never be like a reefing on your spine because your low back does not twist well. It is not a twisting vertebra. That's when it goes out. So you're actually still maintaining the transverse abdominis to keep both hips forwards. And the twist is coming from the ribs and the upper back. It's actually the thoracic spine that rotates. and does the twist, but we're very tight in our upper back, so we feel like it's hard, and we just want to kind of like yank on it. See that? Engage the core and twist. Feel both of your sit bones evenly rooted into the ground. Inhale, press through the back arm and lift through the crown of your head. Soften and allow your sit bones to root down. Exhale. Engage your core. Coming out. This is really fun if you can do the rock and roll. Or just switch legs. It's okay either way. So cradling that top foot and the arm. I don't know how awkward this is for other people, but all right. Bringing the top leg down. Feeling the stretch. This can be really hard for some people, so you might want to actually sit up on something to lift the sit bones. A soft cushion or a bolster. Okay, so as you can see, I'm doing my best to keep my spine straight. Now I'm going to move forwards, deepening the stretch. I'm going to still press into the mat with my hands so that my sit bones move back, keeping them planted on the ground. And when I lift my belly button in and up, that accentuates it. So we're deepening the stretch. Tuck the chin so the back of the neck stays long, shoulders away from your ears. Maybe you come down. You may, at the very end, give yourself a stretch where you round your spine. That's just for a moment before we come on up. Again, extend the bottom leg forwards, front top leg, foot flat on the ground. Same arm as bent knee is now pressing behind you. Okay, this is like your kickstand to stop you from doing this. If that's a problem, then you want to have a little lift. Okay, something to just help you to sit tall. So lifting up. See, I'm just giving it a little hug. As I exhale, remember to rotate the pelvis so that it stays neutral, facing forwards towards the front, the long leg. And then we twist from the upper back and the ribs. Undulate with your breath. Basically, if you imagine wringing a cloth, you don't just twist the cloth in one direction. That core, rotating the hips opposite the upper back, right? Now we're getting more leverage to twist. Coming out. Lowering down onto our backs. Okay, feet are flat on the ground. Here we want to go into a pelvic tuck. So, press your feet down. First and foremost, when you dig your heels in, automatically your lower back presses down, okay? So we're getting a very basic pelvic tilt happening just by pressing into the earth, okay? You can relax. Inhale, exhale. This time we want to lift the pelvic floor, press through the heels, and actively push the belly button down into the ground. From here, you can start to press through the heels and lift the tailbone off the ground. Okay, let's release that down. Make sure your feet are stabilized. All right, lifting the toes if that helps to find the inner and outer edge of the foot as well. Now, pressing through the ground, dig your heels in, feel that tilt, belly button down. Press through the feet. lifting your tailbone up off the ground. Now a few vertebrae might come with it. So lower back starting to lift. Please belly button in and up. As we begin to activate the posterior chain, back of our legs. You can still feel it in the quads as well because they're pushing down into the, as you're lifting up. I'm not actually going into a full bridge here. Release it down. Or just finding that engagement through the back of the legs and glutes. You can also press your elbows into the ground as another point of contact with the earth. So pressing into the ground. Lift your pelvic floor, belly button in and up. Press through the feet, gently lifting each vertebra one at a time, up, up, up. And now engaging through your glutes. Press and lift your tailbone up. Now we're going to lower down and lift up. Press and squeeze. Lower down, lifting up, squeeze. Hold it up here for a second and just squeeze, squeeze. Press the heels into the ground like you're digging them in to the floor. As you do that, you're engaging through the back of your body and your core. And release it down nice and gently. Hug your legs into your chest. And from here, I'd like to do a little bit of core. So just engaging the muscles of your pelvic floor, lifting them up. You're holding in your P. And automatically you're going to start to feel your back start to press down as you picture those hip bones in the front starting to come closer together. And then lift one leg up, press it down. Other leg up and down. Lift it up. So this, the pelvis stabilized. Ways of engaging our core, stabilizing the low back and the pelvis while we move the legs. I do feel a bit of that upper abdominals sort of as I press my back into the ground. We're not doing a curl. Okay, last one, relax. Now I want to see if you can lift both legs up. If you feel a pull or a pinch in your low back, stay with one leg at a time. And even if lifting them all the way up is like too much, and just little baby steps. Really, like my abs are turned on, okay? That's what we want. We want the core activated. If you feel it pinch in your low back, that means you've fatigued or your strength isn't able to stabilize with the weight of your leg moving. So take it easy. We're all at different stages. Inhale, exhale, pelvic floor. Lower abdominals. One leg up, match it with the other, okay? Now we're just gonna try and lower one leg while keeping the other leg up. Toe touches the ground and comes back up. Inhale. Exhale. You're losing your stability, take a break. Actually, let's take a reset. Let's all reset. Hug your legs. Okay. In order to engage the upper abdominals, we're going to do hundreds, which is a bit more tricky, so you can again stick with that. Inhale, exhale. Pelvic floor, lower abdominals. Okay, so I'm really pressing my back into the ground. You could even put a piece of paper under there. Lift both legs up. And now lifting the shoulders up. Inhale and exhale. These are going to be not belly breaths, obviously. It's just the ribs. Every exhale, I try and contract a little more. Okay, release it down. Let's do a little back belly stretch, rolling onto your tummy, pressing tops of the feet into the ground. You almost feel your knees lift up off of the mat and tuck your tailbone so that your pubic bone connects to the floor. Inhale, exhale, actually drop the ribs, okay? So we're engaging the core here a little bit as we then pick up the head. Maybe that's all you get is just a little lift. Again, we don't want to feel it in our low back, and so that's where lowering the ribs is going to help. Windshield washer your feet. This, giving the hips a little shake, a little wiggle. So our glutes are engaged, 100%. 100%. You want to keep the tailbone pointing down towards your heels. Again, that will take the pressure out of your low back. Okay. That's why I always press the tops of my feet. Exhale. Allow the ribs to drop down. Now press through the tops of your feet. As you press your toes away from you, press the crown of your head towards the opposite wall. And maybe your shoulders lift up. Maybe they don't. And pressing back into child's pose. Just breathe and relax. You need a little of assistance in child's pose. Sometimes we require a little more height. And for some, putting a cushion beneath their sit bones will help as well. Arms can remain here, or they can go down along your sides. Final option is spreading the knees nice and wide and letting the arms go right through the middle, turning your head to rest on one cheek. Imagine your sit bones are getting heavier and sinking down. from here, you can bring yourself into Shavasana. Just place your feet flat on the mat. And quickly lift and lower your tailbone. Extending one leg followed by the other. You can also take the palms of your hands and turn them upwards. And then just rolling the shoulders back and down behind you. And for a moment, just rest. Feeling the earth beneath you. Allowing your stomach to gently rise and fall. Imagine like the weight of your limbs are getting heavier as they sink down into the ground. And bring your awareness to the space around you. Allowing yourself to be present. Breathing away any tension. Recognizing that the earth supports you. You can let go. And I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like.